Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which I'm calling a Christmas candle easel card. It's a regular A6 size card which opens up like that, but you stand it up so it rests against the sentiment here. But the beauty of this is there's plenty of space behind it for you to put a battery operated candle behind it. Now it's going to be difficult to show you exactly what this looks like, and if I hold it in place you'll get the idea. Obviously it looks a lot better when you can see it sitting on a shelf and without such bright lights, which I have on obviously because of making the video. It's a beautiful card, very easy to make. I'm going to make this design, but I'm going to be using garden green. The other one I've done using Coastal Cabana. Opens up exactly the same, stands up like that, candle goes in the back. Again, I'll try, see what happens as I hold it. There we go. Obviously, I do reiterate, you do need battery operated candles, not the real thing. So this is what I'm going to be showing you how to make. As I say, I'm going to be doing garden green now. The idea came from a lady who goes by Mickey's, where have I put it? Mickey's Paper Tales. And this was a card that I saw that she did, and she has put a lot more work into hers because she's done stamping and she's done blending as well, and paper at the back there. She's got shimmer paper, but you can download this instruction sheet from her website. But this is where my inspiration came from, and for the stamp set that she used is still available, and it is the Grassy Grove stamp set and the Grassy Grove dies. Okay, so that's where my inspiration came from, and her video is about 2.5 years ago now. So I always say that I don't believe that designs of cards actually go out of fashion. So I'm just going to move these two out of the way for the time being. And let me see if I've got myself in the right order. Yes, I have. Right. So I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces you need. All these inches measurements for A4 cardstock users and centimetres for A4 cardstock will be in the box below the video, and I will also do the measurements for letter size cardstock users, so it'll all be in the video, the box below. These are for A4 cardstock. So the card base is 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8 inches. The easel base, garden green, and this measures 5 3/4 inches by 4 5/8 inches. And then you need 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, which measure 5 5/8 inches by 4 inches. And you will need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, which measure 5 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 inches. The Designer Series paper that I've used for all 3 of these cards is called Nests of Winter. Those 2. Then you need a piece of vellum. This is a piece of the retired vellum cardstock that we used to sell, and it's a really nice thick quality. And this measures 5 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 inches. You then need 2 more pieces of Designer Series paper. One of them I've already prepared ahead of time. This is what we're going to be doing with it. But you need 2 pieces that measure 5 5/8 inches by 4 inches. For the layer for the sentiment, you need a piece of cardstock which is 3¼ inches by 1¼ inches for the garden green, and 2 7/8 inches by 7/8 of an inch if you're on the basic white. What I actually did is I've used a retired set of dies, Stampin' Up dies, which are called stitched rectangles, and I used these ones here, and I used numbers 2 and 3. Okay, I know not everybody will have those, so I've given you the measurements there, what this is. Okay, so let me just pop that away. And the images that I'm using, it's one of these stamp sets that comes with a matching set of Designer Series paper, and the stamp set is called Winter Tree Tops. Now that design there and that design there also appears on Designer Series paper. I don't have much of it left now. In fact, this is the only bit that I've got left, but you can die cut these, which I've done here. Okay, or you can stamp them and colour them yourself, and you can do likewise for that. And the stamped the Design Series paper ones look like this. Okay, these are a bit smaller than the actual images, which is why they look different sizes. Okay, this is what they actually come up as. So you can either use your Design Series paper, or you can stamp and paint yourself. Obviously the matching dies, this is what I've used for the window. That's what I've used for the two of the different shapes that you can die cut from the Designer Series paper, and I've also used these as decoration. The other part that I have used in this is on that sheet of Designer Series paper, you get a lot of these little bunches of holly berries. So I've cut out 2 of those for use as well. So, oh, and one other thing that I have used is, I believe this is a current product, it's a Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to explain something about that when I get to that stage. So first of all, we start with basics. And I have already done these 2 pieces, but I'll go through it with you. So first of all, your card base, you need to score and fold at 4 1 inch on the long side. And then the card base, you need to, what I've called the easel base, if you line that up at 1/2 inch and then score again. Okay, as I say, I've already done those and folded those. Done that. Right, I'm going to do this piece next. Now these 2 pieces should be the same size as the 2 basic white pieces. Okay, I found it a bit confusing. I often confuse myself. I certainly confuse myself on this one. But what you need to do is you line up your Designer Series paper at the 1/4 inch mark there. Okay, it's the 1, 2, 3rd mark along. And then you need to start cutting at 1/4 inch. Of course you don't have that on yours, do you? You've got to look round that way, 1/4 inch. This measurement that I've got on the edge of my trimmer, which makes life so much easier, I actually cut it off of one of these sheets of grid paper along the bottom here, and I just cut it to size fit on there. It does make life a lot easier. So I'm going to cut from 1/4 inch down to 3 3/4 inches. I'm going to turn 90 degrees, line up at 1/4 inch. I'm going to start at 1/4 inch again, and I'm going to score down to 5 3/8. I'm going to turn another 90 degrees, line up 1/4 inch, go back to 1/4 inch, slide down to 3 3/4 inches, turn for the last time, line up at 1/4 inch, move this back to 1/4 and cut from 1/4 inch down to 5 3/8. Now sometimes mine falls out, sometimes mine doesn't. I need to cut the extra little bit using my scissors, like that one there. Let me just get my, oh, I knocked it out. Okay, so that's a good piece to hold on to. That's not going to be wasted. So we've got those two. What else do we need to do? We need to do our vellum. Now, what I want to say about this is I like the look that you get behind the picture. Let me see if I can show it on here. Yes, there we go. You can see the embossing behind that. The disadvantage of doing this, it does make the the vellum curl. So this piece here, and it's not too bad because I keep it under a heavy weight, but that does curl very slightly. Personally, I don't think it spoils the effect of the card, because if anything, let's bring this forward a bit. In fact, I think you can see, yeah, you can see as it is coming down, it's got a slight curve to it. But personally, I think that adds to the character of the card. If you disagree with me, just keep this plain. But I am going to emboss mine because I like it. And although I use my Big Shot, I do use my plates that I got with my cut and emboss, the Stampin' Up machine. So let me get this up. Oh, I know, cutting I've got to do as well, haven't I? Okay, let's do the embossing first, and while I've got my Big Shot up, I'll do the cutting as well. You see me there, that's all right. Let's move these out for a minute. That's it. I wonder if I can get a bit of a better view for you if you come like that. Okay, so I'm not going to use these plates. So I'm going to put that there. I've got my bit of vellum, and I have my embossing folder here. Have you ever put your piece of paper, cardstock, vellum, whatever, in here and then find by the time you've got it settled in there, it's moved? Happens to me frequently. So what I now do is this paper that I've shown you that I use often, which is the Post-it sticky roll, this one here. What I do is I line my paper up on this black line that you can see underneath there. Let me tip it towards me while I do this. I mean, I'm not unduly worried about it. This one goes a little bit crooked because this snowflakes, and if it's only a little bit, it's not going to do any harm. When you do this with your embossing folders, always make sure that you put the fold of the embossing folder through first. And if you are using the Big Shot plates, you need number 1 and number 4, okay? For this is for 3D embossing folders. Now mine is, my Big Shot isn't as tight as I would like it to be on the embossing, but it does mean that it's not so hard that it tears my vellum, which used to be a big problem. Okay, let's move that out of the way first, and then you can see how this curls. Okay, and because you don't have much cardstock here, you've only got this strip here, this is quite flexible, which is why, sorry, that bit there might have been out of screen there, but this is quite flexible, which is why I've added these two outer bits on, and I'm glad I did, because it looks a lot nicer like this than it did without. Right, so I've done that. And these two pieces, I don't know if they'll be any good anymore, but they're very nicely decorated strips of post-it note. I'm just going to pop that into my bin. I'm going to change these two plates over. And I'm bringing in my magnetic sheet. And this is basically why I still use my Big Shot, because Stampin' Up, although this does fit in the cut and emboss, Stampin' Up won't cover your warranty if you've been using this. So rather than run the risk of that, I stick with my Big Shot. I have nothing against the cut and emboss at all. I'm just anti the fact that there's no magnetic platform for it. So we're going to take this piece first, the piece that we've cut and folded, scored and folded. Now that line there, what we need to do is when we use our die, this one here, I have found, as I say, my Big Shot isn't quite as tight as it should be. It's getting a little bit old, poor thing. So what I do is I take a piece of A4 paper, which I fold in half, and I use this as a shim on top to get this through. But first of all, I'm going to turn this to face me. I need to make sure I get this straight. So what I want to do first of all is to put this down here. Oh, I know which way round I did this. I put that on there first. There's a reason for that. So first of all, I'm going to put this on here, and I am eyeballing it so that these and here look approximately the same, which they do. And again, I'm going to use a bit more of this paper just to keep it in place. And the reason I'm doing it on this one also is because we've got to put this onto here so that the line that you've got on this cutting mat, yep, you can see that, you want that to go over that fold. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because if I just put my top plate over this, my cutting plate, because I've got so many scratches on there, it's going to damage all of this, and I certainly don't want that. So the easy way of keeping an eye on where you want to line it up is, again, another piece of paper. And I just use that to make sure that I am getting myself in the right position. I can just about see that white line above my, the line above my white paper. Yep. Oops, you've moved that. Right, so I'm going to move up to the end a bit. So my line on there, on my cutting plate, is hopefully just over the fold. I can't see it properly because, oops, that moved, because I need to stand over it to do it like that. Right, okay. Now you will see that because I put that double one in, it's a bit tight, very tight even. You probably won't need to do this, just check your die out on a spare bit of cardstock first. There we go. Right, let me just move my Big Shot out of the way. I'll take that out, don't need that. There we go, see how easy that is for me to push that through. I don't really think it should be as loose as that, but it still works, so I'm still happy. Right, so I'm going to lift this off. put that on the edge of my desk because it is reusable. I just don't reuse the ones that get embossed. Pop that over there. Now we just need to push this out. Now my first card was not as easy to release as this one. But do experiment with your machine. This, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely down to the machine. There's not a problem with the die. There we go. Push that back. And you will find also that on your cutting and embossing you will get a little frame around there, which doesn't detract from it at all. In fact, if anything, I think it adds to it. So I can see a little bit there that needs to be knocked out. And there. And there. There we go. So I'm just going to give that another burnish, if I can see. Yes, I can. Right, so first of all what I'm going to do is I am going to add this piece, I think. Now this is going to be adhered like this. When you're doing this, close it and make sure that your card is going, once you've got it glued, make sure that you are actually being able to close your card totally. Okay. That looks as if I should have embossed it on, cut the other side. Let me see. No, that looks about even this time. Normally I finish up with the front of my card is normally a bit longer, but this time these two appear to be the same. So what I'm going to do, use your preferred adhesive. Mine is Tombow. Don't put too much on so that when you put the two pieces together, it all starts oozing out. Okay, so which way did I think to do this? It's got to go that way. That way, that's better. Alright, so line it up like that first. Make sure both sides are in. Fold that over. And then with Tombow you've got a bit of wiggle time just to make sure that that closes as well. This one does. Yeah. So what does that mean? What have I done there? One of these. That's okay. That's okay. So that's the longer one. Yeah, I could have trimmed a bit off of that. But I'm happy. I'm really not going to. I'm sure when somebody opens that up, they're going to think, oh, what a beautiful card. Hopefully. She says modestly. Right, now I'm going to adhere this in, and you've got a bumpy side and you've got a flat side. Up to you to decide which way you want it to go. I am going to do it so that the bumpy side out, I think. Yes. Yes, definitely. And I do it by putting glue on this one. Glue does show through vellum. Let me show you this one. Okay. Now, this is my better one. This was my second one. Now, you can't see the glue that's going through there. Hopefully it's because it's all covered underneath this bit. And what you can see through there is that I've used dimensionals to put the image on. The first one I did it by gluing this on, and that was a mistake. I don't recommend that because you can actually see the glue marks on that. But again, you can't see glue through those bits. Alright. So let's do this bit first, and I said glue on here. So I am going closer towards the cut design rather than the outside edge. I also tried one of these where I put Stampin' Seal onto these pieces to get them to stick down. It worked, but it did leave a lot of gunky bits that had to be removed. So for this one, I'm just going back onto putting bits of Tombow on these branches. The first one I tried using my very fine tip bottle that I'd bought for Tombow, but it took me so long trying to get it all done that bits were drying off before I'd got the whole thing together. That's drying off already. Okay. Now this sheet is same size as that, so I'm just having a quick look to see how much gap I'm going to get on that side. Okay, so I'm having that as my top, so it's going to go like that. Yep, that's right. Turn it back around so I can work this way. Now I know what kind of gap I'm looking for all the way round. So I do that first, then that. Okay. Right, now we've done that, might as well get the difficult bits over and done with first. I am going to put my decorative bit on here. Okay. So let me just give you a quick idea of what this would look like if you didn't put this down. I'm going to have to do something about those afterwards. Okay, so this is one of the ornaments. Okay, so that's what your card would look like without this bit. And what your card would look like with this bit is like that. And I think that finishes it off really nicely. Again, if you don't agree with me, just leave that bit out. Right, let's do this bit first. And again, see what kind of edging I'm going to be having, where I need to be putting this. Right, okay. Because the thing is, you're going to have glue all the way around here if you're using Tombow, same as me, and if you let it touch any part, it's going to put extra glue down. But if you watch how I do it, you'll see that I'll put one end down, went off the edge there, put one edge down at a time. Alright, get my tweezers ready. Out of the way, am I? Yep. Right, there we go. The way that I will glue these down after the video, I have a little paintbrush that I use, and I will get some Tombow on the edge and paint underneath it, and then I will wash my paintbrush out straight away so that the Tombow doesn't have a time to get stuck to it, and my brush will be as good as new. It is a technique that I've used before, so I do know that it works, but time is of the essence of that one. You've got to come down a bit. Yeah, push along to the end a bit. And there we go. I will leave mine under a heavy weight overnight to get that to go down to a nice shape. Now the other two bits that I've already done, this is easy. We can get these two adhered on here. I did think about doing some kind of decoration on the back sheet, but I decided to leave mine clear because once the light is in there, I didn't want images to be showing up. And as far as writing your greetings concerned, there's plenty of room at the back of this. If you're not happy with that, you can write on the back here. In fact, what I would do, I think, because this is such a dark colour, I would cut some fancy shapes and leave it there for it, because then if somebody opens up the card, the greeting is there, and then they can do that. I also produced for myself some little stamp things. I don't know if I've still got it as a something that I could share with you, but it's a little label that I could put on the back of my cards to say that it is an easel card and how to stand it up. It was something I did years ago, and I produced it, well, I don't know what I used to produce it. It must have been an Excel thing. Okay, so that's going to be like that. My sentiment, I've given you sizes of those, and I am using garden green ink. And my sentiment, did it come from that stamp set? No. Oh, I know which one it came from. I left it over there, I think. Yeah. This is another stamp set that I thought you could actually use for this set, because it's got that one there. Okay, you've got little reindeer here that you could use. But this is the one where I got the sentiment from. Merry Christmas. And this is called Reindeer Fun. It has dies, and it's got Reindeer Days Designer Series Paper as well. As you can see, this looks a bit scrappy, but it's a new idea of mine to make sure that I label the dies and everything with the DSP that it comes with. I mean, I'm really pleased that Stampin' Up! Are now naming the stamp sets and the dies with the same name. But at the moment they're still choosing to use a different name for the Designer Series Paper. Whether they'll ever change that or not, I don't know. I hope they do. Right, let me just put this on white so I can get it lined up. I can't lean over very far, but I hope that's correct. Oh, well done. So just going to put this onto Tombow. Tombow onto this, rather, even. You may be able to tell from my voice I'm not 100% today, but I have thoroughly enjoyed doing my crafting. Now, for decorating the card, let's do this bit first. Yeah, you can wait. Now, when I die cut from Designer Series Paper, I don't like the back being seen, so I also die cut a white shape as well, and I stick the two together. Excuse me. So I've already done mine, stuck the white on the back, and I've also prepared all of those as well. So I'm going to pop these on here. In fact, that one, holding some of those down anyway, so that's fine. I think it's just beautiful. And then this one I'm going to put here. I don't measure it, it's just like eyeballing it. In fact, I've got a lot of long scrappy bits here, so if I can see my non-stick scissors, I'm going to use this, so that goes from there to there. Let's just cut that little bit off, it's going a bit close to the edge for my liking. Alright, and then this one for the other side. Okay, we go about there. By the way, our holiday in India was absolutely fabulous. Thank you for those who actually watched my video of the traffic in Delhi. It was absolutely chaotic. I don't know how they drive out there, but the thing that really impressed me with it, they use their horns to let other drivers know that they're there, but there is absolutely no aggression at all, no road rage. Oh, it was just really a sight to be seen. So let me just show you this because it's getting close to being finished. Okay, so all three colours look nice. I'm pleased with all three of them. I'm virtually out of most of the sheets on this designer series paper, so I've got another lot on order. So the other thing that I did was decorated here. So what I did was I die cut several of these, and there are two dies in this pack. That one and that one, which is these two. So I just did multi branches for each of the colours. And I also, where I showed you these, I fussy cut these. Okay, so it's those. And I've actually, you can see I've put a wink of Stella on there. Did I paint those? Yes, I did. So I'm going to show you what I did with these, putting them together. I have already prepared the other two fully. So what I did was I just put some Tombow on one. Come on. My fault for keep leaving the lid off. Oh, you're coming. Yep. So it's Christmas. Come on. Speed up a bit. There we go. It's a bit too much now, but not to worry. Okay, so I just make the two join up there. And then this one, I put more there and a little bit, I'm putting a bit heavy there so you can actually see what I've done. I'm going to just blot that on a piece of, oh, I've knocked the two off now. Never mind. Just blotting that a little bit, otherwise that's going to squirt out all over the place. Let's put that back. Okay, so they're only just about joined together there. This can go either way. Then I pop that on there. And then, as I say, I've already prepared these. I'll show you how I've done my dimensionals. Okay, so I put two little ones across there. And I've been cutting off edges. So this one will be saved for another project. In fact, I'll be doing another one of these cards. So slowly I'm making progress with my Christmas cards this year, which I'm really excited about. and then these I adhered down here. The only thing for you to watch is don't allow the tops of these branches to come above here. Excuse me. So there we go. I think that's today's card finished, isn't it? Where's my light gone again? I get a much better view looking at it at the front than I'm afraid I'm able to show you. But I hope you like this project. I hope you give it a try. I have enjoyed doing this, and many thanks to Mickey as well for her inspiration. Let me bring the other ones back as well. As you can see, this looks nice in whichever colour direction you want to use. In fact, I'm going to leave this one standing up because I haven't had a chance to put it under a heavy weight yet. But this one you can see, and that one you can see. Oh dear, my throat, excuse me. Thank you. Right, so yes, many thanks for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope you give it a try. Whether you stamp your own images or you use the easy way, which is what I've done with the die cuts, but I do that now largely to save time on videos. If you shop for me, with me, please use, during November, please use this HOSTESS code so that I can send you a free gift when I send you a handmade thank you card, unused, with an envelope for you to use, together with a free gift as well. I'll be able to send you some free product. If your order is a big order and goes over £150, don't use the code because you lose your own stamping rewards that you get with that, your order. If you have enjoyed this video, please remember to give me a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It's really heartening to see how my YouTube channel is still going, despite having taken a long break and still not being back to doing weekly videos. I really do appreciate your support. Many thanks, and I look forward to being back with you, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, happy crafting. Cheerio.